Okay, we're starting our last class for this first session here. First thing I wanted to do was, did you have any thoughts on Saturday?
Yes, it was very, very informative. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I taught Sunday, kind of filling in when the teachers out. I shared with the class some of the things that we observed, some of the things we did. So it was very enjoyable. I felt very welcomed.
Yeah.
It was very warm. I was a little surprised at the diversity. There was a lot of folks there that were not Jewish, or they didn't appear to be Jewish.
Right. No,
So,
right.
So that surprised me a little bit, but that was great. That was nice to see. As I mentioned to you before you left, seeing the Torah printed on a 500-year-old deerskin was pretty amazing. I probably should have stayed and gone up and looked at it. I wish I had now, but I was close enough that I could see it, so it was kind of nice. The message was very good. I was telling some of the people in the class that did they teach from the New Testament? I said, well, his lesson was from Samuel, but he referenced the New Testament
All the time, yeah.
All the time. He brought, and I said, so, it just happened he was teaching from Samuel that day and not from 1 Corinthians
Yeah.
or whatever. So some people were a little surprised at that. And I told them about the Lord's Supper, the communion. They served that, and a little different way we do it, but I've been in other churches that do it just that way. And I said, if you didn't know it, if you take away a few little things, you think you at First Baptist Hendersonville.
Yes.
Sunday I was teaching about Paul's experience on the road to Damascus, and I said, a lot of times we think about that as a conversion. He wasn't converted from Judaism to Christianity. This was a fulfillment to him of all that he had been taught, all that he had learned. Christianity, the theology did not develop to years
Yes.
later.
Yeah, Beth took some video of
Want me to show that?
the dance. Go ahead. Okay. So I want to show you yarmulke, or a kippah, as they say. It's just for a divine presence over the head. It's more of a tradition thing, to out of respect for God, honoring God, something higher, above the head, above the person, and the tallit. So in my Messianic congregation in San Diego, a lot of people wore these. Now, Saturday, there wasn't.
Other than the rabbi, I didn't see
Right.
maybe two.
Right, normally they'll have some yarmulkes, tallits, and sidurs. This is a sidur, the prayer book that they used in San Diego. It was more high service, like liturgical almost, and so they would tell you what page to go to, and then you would turn and do this. Kol Dodi has everything on overheads, The tallit is tassels on four corners, and each corner has 39 windings, the numerical value. So in Hebrew they have, and in Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic, they have a numerical system that corresponds to their alphabet. So A would be 1, and B would be 2, and C would be 3. So the the windings, the numerical value is the same numerical value as Adonai Echad, the Lord is one. Each corner has 8 strands and 5 knots, which is 13. So with the Hebrew word for talit, is the word, has the numerical value of 600. So you add the 13, the 8 strands, and the 5 double knots, and you get 613, which is the number of commandments in the Torah. I want to finish by talking a little bit about the Torah. Many times in my life, I'll just speak to my experience, when I have gone to different churches and over the years, and they talk about the law. It's almost like the law. And it's always, just the way it's kind of said is it's this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing. And the Jewish definition is far from that. The word law, we assume, is a certain meaning and context of the word that is not present in the Jewish mind. You go to a Shabbat service and they have a Torah procession. Now, we got there a little late. They happened to do it early, right at the beginning. But they have an ark, which is like an armoire or a closet or something, and they open it up and they actually have little instructions, and they take it out, and maybe somebody's birthday or somebody's anniversary, they can come up, and if there's 3 or 4 people, as they walk around, then you put it over your shoulder, and you walk around, and they, as I've said before, they kiss the sun, and they kiss their Bible, and they touch the Siddur or whatever, and they touch the Torah, and they honor it. It's honored, and it's not a negative thing. What is bad was the oral law. And so many times what people do is they take this phrase, the law, and they think it's talking about the Tanakh. I mean, the word Torah, some people use it just for the first 5 books of the Old Covenant. Some people use it for the whole Tanakh. Okay, but either way, they honor it. It's not what the Pharisees did was they took God's high holy standard of Torah, and they couldn't do it. And pastors going through Galatians and Torah was supposed to be a tutor. Well, what was the tutor supposed to teach? The tutor was supposed to teach, you can't do this. This is impossible for you to do. So when Jesus showed up and he says, take on, my burden is light, my yoke, take my yoke, it's light, it's by faith. And so what should have happened is they should have realized, these 613, we've got to be perfect. I break one of these every day. I can't do this. So what should have happened, Christ shows up, it's by faith. They said, oh, Lord, and accepted Christ. But they didn't do that. They took God's high holy standard and they pulled it down in the mud to make up a bunch of rules of things they could do. So is that bad? Yeah, that's really bad. That's why they missed Messiah. They missed him because of the oral law. So and in Galatians, the Judaizers, they said, that Jesus thing, that's fine, but then you got to add on the 613 plus all the oral laws. So in that sense, the oral law is bad. Torah is not bad. They talk about it was a perversion of the Torah that was bad. the way Christ said, I did not come to do away with the Torah, I came to fulfill it. It's still holy. In Acts 21:21, like 28 to 30 years after Pentecost, 30 years, Paul said there are tens of thousands of Jews who are zealous for the Torah. 30 years after Pentecost. So if you want to be a New Testament church, a church of Acts, of the book of Acts, you need to love the Torah. Because that's what they were doing. Now, is it for salvation? No, it's not for salvation. Jesus is for salvation. So I like to think of it as like just a blueprint for living. A blueprint for living. They say, it's a light unto my feet. What is the beginning of wisdom? The fear of the Lord. All these things, is honoring your father and your mother out the door? No, it's not out the door. Is loving the Lord your God, having no other gods before him out the door? No, it's not out the door. So, let me just read to you the beginning of the Psalms. Psalm 1. Blessed is the one who does not step with the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, that take or sit in the company of mockers, but those who delight in the Torah. Now it says, like the NIV says, the law. Most of the times in translations, and the actual word in Hebrew is many times the word for teaching, is the teaching of the Lord, the teaching of Adonai. But they put the law. And once again, to me, that's a negative connotation. But those who delight in the Torah of the Lord and who meditate on it day and night, that person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. So it's like a blueprint for living. And Torah is a good thing, and it's you spend any time in a Messianic congregation with that Torah procession, they take a time out in the middle of the service. They take the Torah out of the ark, they put it over their shoulder, and they walk all around, and people to emphasize how much they revere and honor God's word, honor the Torah.